Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dodgebob debate. This is our first episode, recording again after a slight snafu in the tournament invitees. But, we're here back talking about the pink out results and the John Better's Bobcat Bonanza schedule reveal. So let's be very excited for that. And make sure you stay in, keep a keen ear the rest of the time you have with us. I'm here with Eli Maestros, another Dodgebob debating with me. Hello,
Yeah.
Eli. How are you?
Hello, Andrew. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Just got back from dodgeball practice.
Me
Had a
too,
hell of a
dude.
day. Got to wear
Yeah,
my costume, and I
yeah.
wore my Spider-Man costume. So everyone, make sure to check out the Instagram. I think we just posted on there.
At Dodgeball on Instagram. Go check it out. Go
Go check
like,
it out.
share, rate, comment, review.
Repost.
All the good things.
Yeah, show your mother, show your father.
Right.
You know how it is.
And
All right,
sponsor.
let's talk about the pink out.
Let's do
We
that.
have court one here. Looks like we have Bowling Green beating Maryland 5-4. Akron beating Maryland again 5-3. Ohio State over Akron 4-1. Grand Valley over Akron 3-2. Grand Valley over Ohio State in overtime 3-2. NKU over Akron 3-2. What do you want to talk about here first, Eli?
I kind of want to highlight who I think are the real winners of this tournament. There's obviously no hardware. There's no crowns and scepters that we're giving out, but I think Grand Valley walks away from pink out as the clear winners of the tournament. The 3-2 overtime win over Ohio State is a statement game to say the least. That's huge for them. They came into this tournament 0-1, only playing one game, an overtime loss to Michigan State, who's also a powerhouse in the league. That's huge for them to pick up that win against Ohio State, take care of business, kind of closer than expected against Akron. But then you'll see in a couple slides another big win. They beat Kent State 6-1. So definitely a huge weekend for the Lakers, who kind of prove, GV still GV.
Of course, yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, it's a scary sight seeing that Ohio State 12 come out there full strength like they did, and they didn't care, and they took care of business, obviously. It's a close game, but, I love to see an upset like that, especially with Ohio State being as dominant as they have been when they are full strength. Another thing I wanted to point out was the close games with Maryland. They seem to have a really good tournament in the Maryland Madness earlier in the year. They played a close overtime game with James Madison, who's ranked pretty high. And then I think they lost to Virginia, but I think that was also a close game. So they had a good showing against two of the against their East Coast teams, and then looks like they fell short against two Ohio teams that they saw for the first time this year.
These are definitely two positive results for Maryland, I'd say, though. Although they didn't win, it's proven that you can go into inter-region play, in this case going to Ohio and hang around with some of the state's best, losing by 1 to Bowling Green, obviously, and then by 2 to Akron, who gave Grand Valley a run for their money, if we're going to use the transitive property there. It's definitely, despite not winning those games, a lot to take away for Maryland as they kind of move back to the East Coast. They'll face off with some of their friends over there more.
Yeah, another team to point out is Akron. They seem to be a very up and down team, I'd say. They've played close games with all the top teams, but sometimes they just looks like they don't have it, and they play close games against a team like Maryland or get beaten pretty decidingly against these teams that they've been playing toe-to-toe with. So wonder if they're full strength or if they're just maybe a little feeling a little different from last year with their roster.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see just in the middle, 4-1 against Ohio State and then 3-2 against Grand Valley. I mean, it's almost like they sent two completely different teams out.
And then let's go on to the next slide. I think we have, so no more Akron, but we have Ohio State 6 over Kent State 1. Same score, Grand Valley over Kent State. Bowling Green over NKU 6-1. Kent State beating Maryland 5-1, and then Kent State taking care of Akron B 6-0. First thing that comes out here is tough day from Kent State, I'd have to say. I think if you have to say there was someone that went home a little sad, it would be them. They had their two matchups against Ohio State and Grand Valley, and that's definitely what they had written down and ready, prepared for going into it, and they just couldn't do anything against them. A team that looked like they were going to be a powerhouse coming in the year with a lot of good roster additions and just an all-around stacked lineup. But 5-point losses are 5-point losses. So
Yeah,
be
a
really interesting to watch the film on some of those.
lot of people had this Kent State team as a top, 5-3 team in the nation coming in, and the roster proves that they have they have great elite players. They have the player of the month, Eman Miller, former Ohio University star, now donning, unfortunately, the powder blue, which hurts my heart. But they had the player of the month. They've got 1 through 12, maybe one of, if not the best lineup in dodgeball. But then, they're a team that wasn't solidified last year. They came in as like a fringe top 10 team, ended up as the 8th seed, I believe, in the tournament. And then they do this, and there's thoughts. The thoughts start to creep in. Are they for real? They'll have a chance. They'll play a couple really good teams at the Bonanza, and we'll see how they can respond from this rough day.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about BGSU for a second. They came into the year starting off without a win, I think, at the Cincinnati tournament, but they've been playing some good matches against good teams. I mean, they beat NKU pretty decidedly, had a good win against Maryland. They've been playing good games compared to what they started off in the year, so they've definitely found their mojo and playing with what they have. I mean, they were talking. Some of their players were talking about they don't have the depth that they did last year. They graduated everyone, but I mean, Gavin Gaylord and Jack Priceman taking care of business for them, doing what they can.
They had some eye-popping stats when they posted on Instagram their stats for the year so far. Gillard and Price for sure, but they've also got a couple guys who've been fringe guys the last year, 2 years that are really starting to step up. A couple rookies that are eye-catching as well, not just because some of them wear bright orange quarter zips, but they've got some good players in Bowling Green. It'll be interesting to see how they continue to progress them throughout the year.
Of course, I think we got one more little cue. Akron B losing 6-0 to NKU and 5-0 to Bowling Green. Good to see them have their B team even be out there. I mean, that shows a lot about the depth of Akron, and definitely plays into
I think this
next year with the
the
rookies.
fact that they have a B team is just insane. Most teams struggle to get 18 to practices in tournaments.
We'd love to have our rookies play in 3 matches by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It would be huge if we had enough players to do that. And it's shout out to Akron for just. I feel like it's a big thing to grow the sport, especially just for having more teams playing and more people talking to everyone, getting teams to, people to join your team because there's more people to talk about it. Love it.
And then no matter the wins and losses for Akron, they're always going to be one of, if not the best program in dodgeball, I'd say.
Of course. Yeah. They definitely know what they're doing down there with recruiting. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. We're going to talk about the John Vetters Bobcat Bonanza, the 4th. So we have the schedule release. Let's see it, folks. On Q1, we're going to have your Ohio Dodgebobs against the James Madison University Dukes. Thank you.
The Dukes. Yeah.
Dukes. So, this one hits a little close to home for me and Eli. This was our first round exit from last year. I mean, this is a game we've been waiting for the entire past 6 months. Eli?
The 5-12 matchup, you think about March Madness, you think about looking at your bracket, you're like, man, 12 looks really good right here. As the 5 seed, you're a little worried. Everyone's like, 12 seed, Cinderella story. The 5 seed. There's no sympathy at all for the 5 seed.
No one thinks about the 5 seed.
No one thinks about the 5 seed who's got to drive 3.5 hours home after a devastating program-altering loss. We going to be playing upset this game, I'll tell you.
There's going to be some emotions for sure. Having that in Q1 is definitely a fun way to have that, too. Let's go on to the next one. We have Akron against Cleveland State. Looks like a good matchup. I mean, Akron's been pretty up and down this year, and Cleveland State showed out at Nationals last year with 2 really good matches against GV, splitting them on day 1 and day 2. So, haven't seen too much of CSU this year. I'm not sure how many tournaments they've played in.
I believe just the Buckeye opener.
So, yeah, they were at the Buckeye opener, and I don't think they did too amazing. I don't know what their record was there.
I think
but
1 and 2 sounds right.
Definitely played some top-tier teams, so doesn't really speak to their talent yet. Going to be a good game to see them out there against Akron.
For sure.
Definitely a very I could see that going both ways.
I'm excited to see I'm excited to see Austin Blood, Rookie of the Year. Or not Rookie of the Year,
Rookie of the Month. Yeah.
Rookie of the Month. I'm excited to see what he's what the cut of his jib looks like.
Of course, yeah. Next, we have Kent State versus Ohio State. Teams that I think have played each other a couple times already.
I think this is
Might
the
be their third
the
matchup.
trifecta.
Yeah, this is going to be the third matchup, and it's a good matchup. Again, I think Ohio State has Kent State 2-0 this year so far, and this is Kent State's time to respond. Definitely the team that wants to get a win on their first match is going to be Kent State after a very disappointing pink out.
They're going to be thinking about that 6-1 game the whole time. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, of course. That's all they're going to be thinking about. I know I think I had a little bit of a complaint on someone asked me not to put this matchup together, but just the way it worked out, had to do it. And, it's a good matchup, so we'll see. We got Akron playing Miami. This is going to be two teams that made the semifinals last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they didn't get to play each other, but they both made it there. Akron upsettingly lost to Cincy, and Miami won the Natty. So these are two very top teams from last year. Both lost some players in Max Edlane on Miami, and then Crawford on Crawford, Matt Young, Chance Priest. So Akron definitely lost a lot more guys than Miami, but they still have the discipline to definitely take down a Miami top one team right now.
Yeah, both these teams came to the year with similar kind of narratives surrounding them. Historical seasons for their programs last year, and then they lose a lot of their firepower. And they've kind of responded in polar opposite ways. Miami, the number one team in the nation, 6-0, and Akron all the way at 11, 2-5.
Yeah.
So this will be interesting to see.
I think if there's anything you have to say about these teams, these might be the two most disciplined teams playing dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Adam Pfeiffer runs a tight ship with their discipline, and then Philip Hampton's doing a great job leading the ship. They play such a tight game, or such a disciplined game. Never see him throwing an extra ball, always executing team throws the correct way. It's really just fun to watch. Reminds me of the who's that coach on the in the Premier League? Pep
Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola plays a boring game, but they win. That's what you love to see for a program like them. Now we got Court 2, got Cincinnati versus Kent State. Two top 5 ranked teams, maybe. I don't know. Maybe in the power rankings they're both top 5.
3 versus 7.
3 versus 7. All right. Well, this is another good one. We got. Say that again. Sorry. What'd you say?
Oh no, all good.
Oh, okay, sorry. Anything to say about this one?
Kent State, kind of a tough draw. They're going to play 2 top 5 teams in a row to start their day. Those schedule makers, I tell you.
Yeah, I know, right? See that whiteboard out in the hallway that I was cooking on the other day.
But they can see it as 2 ways. They can see it as rats. We're going to drive 3 hours and play 2 primetime games to start the day, or they can say we hated what we did last tournament. Let's come out, punch somebody in the face, punch a couple people in the face. Actually, try not to punch anyone. Maybe just beat them. Right. We really don't want to have that on our rec center's record. Yeah, it's a good opportunity for Kent State, and for Cincy, it's a team that they sit at 4-2 with an overtime loss. It's been a weird kind of feeling out process so far. 4 seniors graduated last year that had almost double digits All-American mentions. So it's really tough to replace, but their core is still really strong.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Cincinnati, I think their 2 losses are to Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that does sound right.
The only team they've been losing to is the top team. So, yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see them play another powerful team like Kent State. And on your point of Kent State, I would just think of it as the opportunity to bounce back. I mean, they get to play 2 top teams, and if they go 3-0, that's just cancels out the pink out. And now they're feeling good riding high into the second semester. So we got BG versus GV. Grand Valley gets to start the day on Court 3, playing a BG team that I think can put up a good fight against them, but not much to say there. We got Q3, Miami versus Cincinnati. This is the 3rd time they'll play this year, and they are, like we said earlier, Cincinnati is 0-2 against Miami this year. They're only 2 losses. National championship rematch, and we're just going to be an exciting game all around. They've played 2 close games, and I'd really like to see Cincinnati take the 3rd one.
Yeah, it's always a fun game when these two teams play. It's good dodgeball all around. This is 1 versus 3.
Yeah, of course. So we got Ohio versus Grand Valley.
So this will be a fun one for our Bobcats. We picked up our first win against them in program history last year at their home court on a day's notice, staying in a Red Roof Inn that smelled like cigarettes. So that was a huge win for us. Now they get a chance to come to our home court and see what they can do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was an amazing tournament for us last semester when we went up there and beat MSU and GV on the same day. I mean, there was really nothing like it, and then getting to play them again, especially when they're also on a high after having a really good tournament at Pink Out, and then hopefully we coming in off a good game, a good win against JMU. So should be a really intense two matchups on court 1 and 2 should be very thrilling. Next we got Western Michigan against Cleveland State. Don't really know much about Western Michigan. This will be their first game of the year. Good chance to start off 1-0 against CSU. Then CSU has a good chance to start them off 0-1. On Q4, we have your Dodgebobs playing the Akron Zips. This is the ODC final rematch where Akron took it, I think 4-2, 5-2 maybe,
4 or 5 to 2, yeah.
4 or 5-2. Yeah, pretty a tough loss on our part. I'd say Akron just got the better of us, and they were a good team. They made it to the semis, and they showed us what was what. They showed us who they were. We definitely could not. We weren't standing tall then. Gonna go to BG versus James Madison University. Should be a good matchup for JMU. Haven't really seen anything in Ohio this year, so we don't really know how they're going to match up against a team like BG. Should be an interesting one. We got Western Michigan playing Ohio State. You want to tell us what's on Q5?
Q5, Court 1, Cincinnati versus Grand Valley. Yeah, going to be a pretty good game. Two teams that top 5 in the nation. This will be a 3 versus 5 matchup. Both of them took some early losses, but then bounced back really well from them. And yeah, it's going to be one to watch. It's the Court 1 game for a reason.
Next, we got James Madison playing Ohio State. I think that's a really fun matchup for James Madison, a chance to beat one of the top Ohio teams. They have 3 Ohio teams, so it should be fun to watch them compare up to the Ohio region, like I said before.
It'll be fun to see because James Madison kind of plays I don't want to call it uncontrolled, but for lack of a better word, uncontrolled.
Yeah, they throw a lot of balls. They don't really.
Yeah.
They like catching. They like staying on the back line, and they like doing what they know best, which is catching. It's what I can remember from nationals. So it's a good team. They can beat anyone at any time if they let them. So yeah. And on court 3, we have Kent State versus Cleveland State, the old Northeast Ohio matchup.
Shout out Northeast Ohio.
Shout out
Best
Northeast
place on
Ohio.
earth.
Best
Paradise,
place on earth.
dare I
Love
say.
that Cleveland area.
Oh yeah.
Then this is actually an interesting matchup because we have a similar coach on both the teams in Rylan Close. I know he started somewhat as a coach this year on Cleveland State, but should be fun to watch his two teams match up against each other.
Maybe conflict of interest. The league might have to look into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he'll hopefully he'll be there, but maybe he'll take a side.
We need an official statement at some point from Coach Close to just kind of settle all the pins and needles that we're all sitting on.
Yeah, we'll get something out there next podcast. See what he says. Maybe he'll get on here. I know he's on this podcast team. Hopefully, get on him on here at some point. And then we have Q6, our last Q of the day. We have Ohio State versus Miami. Awesome matchup to see. I think they
1 and 2. This is it.
This is it. The only time they played them, did they play them in Miami or in Cincinnati? I'm not sure if they got a matchup.
I think so.
So I think this might be the first time they play. This is the Max Edling revenge game.
Yeah, that winner gets to keep Max Edling. I think that's the stipulation.
I heard that as well. He might go back to Miami.
We have a someone there to transfer his credits live in person. So.
Yeah, sources trust me. So
yeah.
Next we got Akron versus BG. I think they've played already. I'm not sure who came out on top. I'm not sure, but I think these are two very evenly matched teams. I mean, Akron obviously looks a little bit better on paper, but they've also been struggling to start the year. You said 2-5.
Yeah, that would be the correct number. Yes.
So this is a huge game for BG to show show them why they keep rising in the rankings. I mean, starting off, I think 0-3 or starting off 1-2 in Cincinnati. I think this is a big tournament for them.
I think this game encapsulates.
Encapsulates.
Couldn't have said it better.
Thank you.
The depth of teams in Ohio right now. The fact that this Akron and Bowling Green game is, maybe the 7th or 8th or 6th best teams in Ohio is unbelievable. It just shows the growth that's happened in the Buckeye State over the last couple of years. Because these are two really good teams that, come ODC might be ranked 6th or 8th or 7th.
Yeah. In that order. Then we got Western Michigan against Ohio. That's should be a good matchup.
Yeah, it'll
Western
be
Michigan first tournament of the year.
For our Bobcats. Last game of the day. Arm's gonna be tired. I'm excited to see kind of what the guys who haven't played much can bring. We just had practice. 2 hours ago maybe. I'm liking our future. We had a lot of guys ball out that are rookies, second year guys. Just they're stepping into new roles. Bobcat wise, I think this will be a fun year where we'll see some guys ball out.
Yeah, love it. Gonna be an amazing tournament. I cannot wait for it. I've been thinking about it for the past month, ever since we decided on it. Another thing to note, there will be a rookie/women's match in between the third and the fourth queue. So that's something to bring your rookies for. Bring your females on the teams, obviously. And then, it'll be exciting to watch all the rookies from 11 different teams play.
Can I ask you a question, Andrew? If I may.
You are allowed to ask.
Give me your best game of the tournament, most underrated game of the tournament, and the most fun game of it.
I'm going to have to look through this real quick.
Oh, please go ahead. Sorry if any of our viewers get motion sickness from the rapid changing of slides.
You're going to have to ask me those questions again because I kind of forgot. What's the first one?
Here, I'll answer them first. Ready?
Yeah.
Best game, give me Ohio State, Miami.
I was thinking the same one exactly. That's going to be the game. I think that's the 1 versus the 3, 2?
1-2.
1-2, yeah. Wow.
The granddaddy of them all. Underrated game, I'm going to go with the one on the left side of your screen, us versus JMU. Maybe that's personal bias, maybe it's not. Most fun game, I think it's going to be a Cleveland State game.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe
that's what we're looking at. Cleveland State.
That looks like fun.
It looks like a fun game. They're a fun team to watch. They got a lot of good catchers, a lot of good arms too.
They get fired up too.
Talk about energy. They were the most energetic team at nationals, and I think
you could be back in Athens. You can hear them barking in downtown Cleveland. It was awesome.
Picture of the year, in my opinion, is Yostin getting held up by his entire team after upsetting Grand Valley. One of the pictures of all time, if I have to say so myself. That's all I got. Anything from you?
No, I'm looking forward to playing, watching, being a part of, officiating, maybe even. Should be a fun one.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us in this past, I think, half hour-ish, 24 minutes.
24 minutes. I'm glad you can spend your
Thank you for joining us, spending your evening watching the Dodgebob debate. And for this is the end of the first one, and here's to more to come. Thank you very much for listening. Peace.